Hey guys, so I thought, hey, the first four videos or so were okay. I talked about some controversial things, but I think today this is probably going to really be the one that sparks the controversy because I want to start talking about the Planned Parenthood video that got released today. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and search for it. I'll post a link if I can find it for you. Um, where an action group had done some research and called something like 90 something Planned Parenthood clinics around the country and asked for prenatal care. And they were told at just about every single one that they do not offer prenatal care at Planned Parenthood and that it is primarily for abortion and termination services. Now, this is supposed to be seen as a crushing blow to Planned Parenthood, which claims that they are mostly to be seen as a provider for women's care services. They'll plug screenings, STI testing, and prenatal services among the many services they provide, as well as abortions. Now, here's the crazy part. Depending on who you ask, and it's impossible to pin down this number because the statistics for this are not easy to come by. Planned Parenthood would say that only 3% of their services are abortions, but other numbers come up like 94% of the profits for Planned Parenthood come from adoptions. Which one's true? Maybe they're both technically true, and it all depends on how you interpret the phrase prenatal services. Now, if you hear the phrase prenatal care, what you're probably thinking is the care that a woman receives between conception and birth. The ultrasounds, the vitamins, the screenings, anything that might happen during that time. Whereas it is also possible that you could interpret any of those individual things as considered a prenatal service. So maybe one way they're looking at this is that they do offer prenatal services without actually offering prenatal care as far as being the primary caregiver for a pregnant woman during her term. I don't know, but that seems somewhat reasonable. What we're seeing here is a lot of ambiguity and a lot of phrases being used in misleading in different ways. And depending on who you ask, it could mean one thing or another. Um, Now, I got a clip of a couple of fundraising speeches and other speeches in defense of Planned Parenthood by their CEO. And it does seem like she says that they offer prenatal care. Okay, that's fine. But if you go to the actual Planned Parenthood website, which I did about an hour before posting this video, you'll see that there's nowhere on there where they claim to be a provider of prenatal care or a primary provider, and they don't even say that they have an obgyn on site or any medical professionals. They do say they have pregnancy counseling, pregnancy screening, or pregnancy tests, sorry. But nowhere on there does it say that you can use Planned Parenthood as your primary prenatal care provider. So what I'm seeing here is a lack of understanding of what exactly Planned Parenthood does, even by the people who are fighting for them. But there's also a lot of problems with the people who are fighting against Planned Parenthood. There's still a lot of misconception out there, even though many investigations have debunked this, that Planned Parenthood is in the business of selling fetal tissue and fetuses. Many states have launched investigations into their local Planned Parenthood centers, found nothing. Um, but it seems that there's still going to be that group of people who uh, 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 are very much against Planned Parenthood because they're seen mostly as an abortion provider. So it's interesting here that we have a group, Planned Parenthood, that provides a number of good and decent services, um, but it seems like the people fighting against them don't have a full understanding of what they provide, but it seems like the people who are fighting for them don't have a full sense of what services they provide. It seems that Planned Parenthood has a stigma attached to it where people think of Planned Parenthood and they think of the services they offer, but it's not necessarily what the people who go to Planned Parenthood are actually using it for. And there's also a huge sense of if you're fighting against a group that offers women's services or family planning services, that anything you do against them is a a a violation against women's rights as a whole. So I did a little bit of looking into this also. Um, and I just picked a random county in a random state, and I ended up with Neshoba County in Mississippi. And for every service that Planned Parenthood provides, I was able to find a nearby provider, low cost provider, um, of those same services, clinical screenings, um, prenatal care, birth control, family planning. I was able to find all those just off the internet. So it seems that Planned Parenthood, even though it is a provider of these services, is not the only provider or even the best low-cost provider of these services. And if something were to be done to defund Planned Parenthood, there are still many, even some that are recommended by the government to go to for these services. In fact, if you go to the healthcare.gov site, you're not going to find a link to Planned Parenthood. The March of Dimes site does not give a link to Planned Parenthood. But there are many sites that you can go to that will offer links and offer assistance to help you find other women's services out there. So Planned Parenthood is not even the primary or even the best. It's just the name we know. And because of that, and because of the stigma attached to, if you fight against something that offers women's services, then you must be against women altogether. Um, we're fighting a battle of ideology on a battleground that we don't even know what that battleground is. Um, the people who like Planned Parenthood like it for reasons that maybe Planned Parenthood was never supposed to exist in the first place. The people who don't like Planned Parenthood don't like it for reasons that don't exist in the first place. So I think it's okay to be for something or against something, but know what you're for. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And if anybody has ever received prenatal care from conception to birth through Planned Parenthood and not just through a referral, please talk to me. Let me know. And I want to find out where I'm wrong. But in all the interactions I've ever had with Planned Parenthood, I can say that for myself, I've not gone for any abortion services. That's just my personal experience with them, and of course your mileage may vary, so please share with me your personal experience. If you yourself, not just someone you know or you heard about someone who, or you know this article where, but you yourself have gone to Planned Parenthood for prenatal care, and not just prenatal services which could fall under the umbrella like ultrasounds or screenings or testing, but they were your actual care provider. Please let me know, and let's keep this conversation going. There's a lot that I don't know, and there's a lot that I don't understand, and the only way we're going to get through it is if we all had an open, meaningful dialogue. So until tomorrow, have a good night.